morning, everyone. We are live Zooming all over the world, well, across Canada. And as per my note that I sent out, sometimes it's just good to get back to basics and really understand what Hatha Yoga is. The word Hatha itself in Sanskrit means force. And that force is actually, Hatha, Ha means sun, Ta means moon in Sanskrit. So really we're trying to balance, harness, harmonize the energy of the sun and the moon. And basically Hatha Yoga is designed to preserve energy, so slow down the aging process, as well as funnel or channel the energy to all the vital organs in the body in the sense of the physical. And of course, the breath is really the vessel that can take us places that the body can't. And that may sound a little woo-woo to you, but just leave it at that, okay? Some of you will know what I mean. And the other thing I want to say is, just historically speaking, Patanjali, who is considered to be the father of Hatha Yoga, who created Ashtanga Yoga, which a lot of people think is Madonna Yoga or something back in the day. I remember they'd call it Madonna Yoga because it was power yoga. Well, this is a Westerner's ability to take something that's 5,000 years old and kind of, make it theirs. But Ashtanga, so it's made up of two words. Ashta means 8. Anga means limbs. There are 8 limbs, or I like to think of them as the rungs of a ladder. And as I said in my notes, or I said, and maybe I didn't even put it in there, we're not going to discuss the rungs of the ladder today, but suffice to say that the first 2 rungs are moral attitudes, like not stealing and not lying, and there are 5 of them. And the next ones are more about observances, so being able to study yourself, to know yourself, svajaya. And we'll talk about, there are 5 of those. So those are the 2 bottom rungs, and basically ethical and moral behavior, which our society seems to be lost in those areas a little bit. But, and the next one, of course, is asana. And asana is the physical practice that we do. And asanas really are designed to purify the body, cleanse it, keep it strong, not a distraction to the higher aspects of what I think a good life is, which is one that feels grateful, contented, peaceful, not just in your mind, in your heart, your whole being. So Hatha Yoga, the word yoga comes from yuj, which means to join. And in that case, I would say not just body and mind, but spirit or soul, whichever word you resonate with. So with those few words, let's lie down on our backs just for a moment and draw your knees up into your chest. And just do a little gentle rocking from side to side, just checking in with your lower back. If you ate a big breakfast, don't pull in too tight or hard. If you didn't have a big breakfast, you have an opportunity to create some movement through the lower intestine. And yoga is great for helping us, as I said, cleanse and purify the body. So it helps with moving the transit of food out of the body. And then extend your left leg straight down in front. Maintain your right knee into your chest. And with your left hand on the outside of your right knee, draw it across your body. And just gently stretching out the lower back area. Always practicing with awareness, respect, and compassion for exactly how your body feels right now. And when I say right now, one of the gifts I think of yoga is that we easily focus And focus leads to concentration, and concentration can lead to meditation. So your physical yoga practice can also be partly a meditation. So breathe into that hip, one more breath. You can mentally ask it to let go or relax whatever we're holding in our hips. We hold lots of stuff in there. And then on an inhale, let's draw that knee back to the center, keeping it bent. Let's draw the other knee up and extend the other leg down in front, placing the opposite hand on the outside of that knee and drawing it across your body. You know, there might be a difference from one side to the other. So you're using the opposite hand, Janet? Using your opposite hand on your knee? Yep, the opposite, yep. And placing it on the outside, yeah, and taking it across your body. Yeah, so placing it probably on your knee better than on your thigh, placing on the outside of your knee. Instead of here, your hand is more here. No, that opposite hand. Yeah, you got it. And the bottom leg is straight on the floor, and you're using that hand just to help yourself do a little more stretching to open and release and let go of any kind of tension or stress. As I've said many times, the hip's like the junk drawer. We don't have time to process what somebody said, what somebody didn't say or did. And in that moment, you hear it, you heard it, it went in. Where'd it go? Maybe into your hips. So stretching your hips is always helpful in letting go of that which is not serving us. And then coming back into the center, and with both knees still drawn into the chest, take your arms out to shoulder height. Press your lower back gently in towards the mat so you can feel your core engaging. That will be the theme next week, the core. So you can feel, and you're always using your core in yoga, but by focusing your attention, right now by pressing your lower back, your knees are bent, 90-degree angle. So your upper thighs perpendicular to the floor, your lower legs are parallel to the floor. Inhaling in place, exhale, take both knees over to the left slowly. When you go slow, you're not letting the momentum of gravity move you, you're using your muscles. So it's a controlled move. You're trying to keep the opposite shoulder on the floor so that both knees may not touch the ground. And again, you've got to use your core. Inhale, slowly come back to center. So when you go slow, you feel your core engage. Inhaling in the center, exhaling, both knees over to the other side. Probably your right, but if it's your left, it's okay. We're doing both sides. Turn your head, if you like, to the opposite side. Now again, you may notice you have more mobility through your upper body. Perhaps your opposite shoulder is a little closer to the mat, if not on the mat. Inhale one more time, come back to the center. Notice your core firing by pressing the small of your back into the floor. Do breathe. Inhaling in the center, exhaling both knees one more time over to the left, head to the right. You might find there's a little more mobility in the lower back, meaning your knees may be a little closer to the floor or not. Trust that you're getting exactly what you need in a class. Never compare yourself to anyone else. All of our needs are somewhat different. Inhale slowly. Feel your core engaging. The slower you go, the more you activate your core muscles. We'll discuss that anatomy next week. Exhale, slowly lowering both knees last time over to the right or the opposite side of where you were. And if you like, turn your head to the opposite side. And inhale, come back to the center. Draw your knees into your chest one more time. One hand on top of each knee. And again, a little bit of rocking, or perhaps make circles. And change the direction. And then place your hands underneath the backs of your knees. You can roll up to seating, or you can roll over onto your side and use your top arm to push yourself back up, whichever one you prefer. Come on over onto all fours. Hands are underneath your shoulders. Your fingers are spread wide apart. Middle finger should point forward. If you can see the wrinkles in your wrists, they should actually be lining up with the front of your mat. And then inhale, sweep the left arm up, reaching up and stretching up. Exhale, thread the needle, reach it underneath and lower your shoulder and perhaps the side of your head onto your mats. You can keep your right hand where it is or tippy-toe the fingers out to the other side, out in front. Your choice. So just warming up here, the upper back and the upper part of your spine. And then draw your right hand back in if it was out. Coming back to neutral. Let's take the opposite arm, reaching up. Exhale, thread the needle. Lower your shoulder and perhaps the side of your face onto the mat. And if you wish, tippy-toe the fingers of the left hand straight out in front. And draw, if you did, extend the arm out, back in front. Curl your toes under, lift your hips up, and just come into a soft dog, meaning that you're not forcing your heels towards the floor. In fact, you're keeping your knees slightly bent, but let's straighten one leg and press the heel towards the mat. Never concern yourself with the heel connecting with the mat, but do pay attention to the stretch in the back of your knee, your calf, and your Achilles tendons. When these aren't stretched, even a simple walk can create havoc. Well, and of course, if we play sports, change, straightening the other leg, bending the knee, you can strain the Achilles, calf muscles, even the back of the knee. And typically, we just have to be patient and wait for time to heal these areas. And one more time, changing. Check in with your neck at this point. Relax your head. Your ears should be beside and in between your arms. And last time, changing. And then coming back to neutral with your knees soft, walk your feet towards your hands. And just let your upper body hang for a moment in Uttanasana. Every time our heads are lower than our hearts, we're getting extra blood supply. Typically only 25% of the blood will go above the heart when we're standing, sitting. Keeping the knees soft. Let your head hang, let your arms hang, pressing the soles of your feet into the mat. Slowly roll up one vertebra at a time, keeping your chin tucked into your chest, and let your head be the last thing to come up. And then give yourself a little shake out. And magically, my nose has stopped running. Love it. Yoga. Okay. Sun Salutations. Good morning, Katrina. It's funny, I go to a lot of yoga classes outside of this. I don't think anyone's doing sun salutations anymore. It's bizarre to me, but this is part of classical Hatha Yoga. So, coming up to the fronts of your mats, I think most of you know sun salutations. If you don't, listen to the cues. Starting at the front of your mat. And I think everyone has their socks off, and if they don't, you have stickies on the bottom of your socks, or take them off because you won't be able to grip your mat. Inhaling in place, exhale, hands in prayer. Step your feet apart, arms up, reach up, look up. Now extend more than bend back. And then inhale, bring your feet back towards one another, lift up out of your waist, bend from your hips, reach forward as you fold. Again, your core is being activated and used. Please let your head hang. Step your left leg back and drop the knee to the mat. Keep your toes curled under. Place your hands on the front of your right thigh. Now, when you lift up, don't bend forward. Keep your torso completely upright, lifting up, and focus your gaze for balance. Now, press your heel towards the floor. This is the anchor in this posture. Yeah, your thigh's working. We are trying to balance weight between the front and the back leg, but because we always think more front, sometimes our weight is more in the front of the leg. Don't let that happen. Press through that back heel. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Fingers are active. You're holding that, I don't even want to say it, but an invisible beach ball. Turn your hands forward, spread your fingers apart, bring your hands onto the mat. We're coming into the classic push-up plank position. However, if your shoulders or wrists do not like this today, lower your knees to the floor and cross at the ankles. However, if your shoulders and your wrists are strong enough to hold your own body weight, this is the best overall strengthening posture for your entire body. And if you find yourself weak in certain areas, practice. Even 30 seconds a day, the body will respond and probably impress you eventually. Okay, let's release the knees to the floor, flatten the tops of the feet. Take your hips back towards your heels. Keep your hands exactly where they are, stretching out your spine, your shoulders, your arms, relaxing your wrists, leaving your hands where they are. Slowly come forward with your torso. You may be able to lower your elbows and your forearms onto the mat, and you're going to keep your bum up in the air, and when you're able, you're releasing your chest and your chin onto the mat. Because we spend so much of our time in forward flexion, even sometimes poor posture, this is a great anecdote. I get that it feels awkward, but there's a lot going on in this asana posture to improve our posture. Slide everything out behind you. Make sure your feet are still on the mat. So if you have slid too far down your mat, please come up higher. Align your fingertips with the edges of your shoulders and place your forehead on the mat. Keep your elbows tight into your side body and press your forearms down towards the mat. Roll an invisible alley with your nose until you're looking straight down at the mat. On an inhale, let's come up into baby cobra. Baby Bhujangasana, so you're not really using your hands, they're just there as guidance. And you're lifting up as high as you can. Clearly, you are working your back muscles here, but the back bend also excellent for preserving your kidneys and releasing some of the stress from our overstressed, sometimes adrenal glands, which is where I believe a lot of women can run into issues with menopause because of what happens. And I'll talk about this in another class when we focus more on the kidneys and the adrenals. But suffice to say, yoga is truly working to preserve, conserve the energy in all your organs and glands. One more breath in to lift. Exhale, lengthen to lower. Curl your toes under. You may wish to come up onto your knees first, or just press all the way up. Walk your feet a few inches forward, then bend your knees. Make sure all 10 fingers are pressing into the mat. As you bend your knees, press your belly onto your thighs and press your chest towards your knees. Align your ears with your inner arms. And now, straighten your legs without hyperextending at the knees and press your heels towards the floor. Again, doesn't matter if your heels ever touch the mat. Just notice the stretch in the backs of your legs. Lift your left leg up in the air, look at your left hand, and swing that foot as far as you can. If it doesn't go very far, drop the foot down, drop the opposite knee, pick the foot up at the ankle, place it back near the beginning of the front of the mat, and then swing the other foot forward. And here we are back in Uttanasana, forward, folding, bend, let your head, neck relax, arms relax. Bring your arms beside your ears. Galvanize your thighs by lifting up on your kneecaps. Pull your belly in towards your spine to protect your lower back as you sweep the arms in front, reaching up, feet apart for balance. Look up. Remember, you're extending, perhaps even more than you're bending. And then inhale, bring your feet back towards one another. Lift up out of your waist, reach forward, hinging from your hips. Please let your heads hang, then bend your knees. Inhale, sweep the arms out to the side, up. Exhale, hands in prayer to your heart center. This is a complete exercise. We'll do it again. Inhaling, exhaling, hands in prayer. Step your feet apart for balance. Reaching up, looking up, arcing back. Inhale, come back, straight up, bringing the feet closer together. Galvanize your thighs by lifting up on your kneecaps. Grip the mat with your toes, hinge from your hips. Let your upper body hang. Please let your head hang as well. Step your right leg back, drop the knee to the mat. Bring your hands onto your front thigh. Focus your gaze for balance and then lift up, keeping your torso, your hips, your shoulders are right over your hips. So you're not leaning forward at all and you're pressing that back heel towards the floor. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Fingers are active. Breathe. Feeling rooted and grounded through the soles of your feet, even though all your little tiny proprioceptor muscles are maintaining your balance. Turn your hands forward, spread your fingers apart. Take your other leg back. Draw your heart center towards your thumbs, your shoulders away from your ears. And remember, if at any time you need to drop your knees down, please do so. This is not the no pain, no gain program. If you have pain, this is your body telling you, please stop. Modify or just come out of it. Everyone release their knees now, flatten the tops of your feet. Take your hips back towards your heels. Relaxing the wrists, stretching the spine. Breathing, that compression on the belly is excellent again for peristalsis. Any kind of compression helps to purge whatever is being compressed of its toxins and waste. And then leaving your hands where they are, lower your forearms and elbows. Keep your bum in the air. Slowly coming forward until your chest and chin are on the mat. As I said, I know this is awkward. Slide everything behind you. And again, if your feet are not on the mat, please come forward on the mat. I have an extra long mat. If you're thinking that you would like to have an extra long mat, I can let you know afterwards where you can find them. Bring your elbows into your side body and press your forearms down towards the mat. Notice how this gets your shoulder blades further down your back and your shoulders away from your ears. Now, if you're thinking to come up into the fuller expression of Cobra, you may wish to separate your feet to allow more movement in the lower part of your spine and your sacral area. And then press your baby toes into the floor. But we'll all begin in Baby Cobra. So roll the invisible alley with your nose until your eyes are looking straight down at your mat. On an inhale, lift your head, neck, shoulders up. So we're all in Baby Cobra here. Make sure you keep your elbows, wrists, and shoulders in alignment, shoulders away from the ears. And now, if you wish to try to go further, press the floor away from you. Most of us will not be straightening our arms because if we do, we get this, shoulders up around the ears. So relax, lower the shoulders. You can allow your eyes, open or close, to roll up towards your third eye, Ajna Chakra, the seat of intuition. You think about somebody and the next thing you see them, they call you, you hear from them. That's kind of, and we all have this ability, more or less. One more breath in, exhale, lower with your heart and lengthen through your torso as you lower down. If you spread your feet apart, please bring them closer together. Curl your toes under, pressing into the mat, coming up into downward dog. Walk your feet a few inches forward. Bend your knees, press your belly onto your thighs, chest towards your knees, align your ears with your inner arms, and then press your heels towards the floor. Notice how this draws your sits bones towards the back of your mat, and your body is in a perfect inverted V. This is an enormously energizing posture. You probably noticed that. You're getting all kinds of earth telluric energy through the hands and the feet. It's also an inversion, so excellent for getting blood supply to your endocrine system. Lift that right leg up in the air. Look at your right hand. Swing that foot as far forward as you can. Other leg forward, and let your upper body just hang. Arms beside your ears. Draw your kneecaps up to galvanize your thighs. Pull your bellies in to protect your lower back. Sweep the arms in front, reaching up, feet apart for balance. Look up. Extend as you bend and arc backwards. Inhale, bring your feet back together. Lift up out of your waist. Fold from your hips, reaching forward. Coming into standing forward bend, Uttanasana. Please let your head hang. Give it a little shake so you know what it feels like. Don't hold on, it won't come off. And then bend your knees and inhale, sweep the arms out to the side, reaching up. Exhale into prayer. Take a sip of water if you like, flat out and relaxing. Flat out and relaxing. So we take a moment, this again is Classical Hatha Yoga, to allow the benefits of what you have just done to be integrated or uploaded, as they say in the computer world. Turning your palms up in the open and receiving position. This allows us to be more open and expansive through the chest, through the lung area. Let your bodies be soft and heavy. Sometimes we hold a lot of tension in our jaws. So there's an expression to allow your tongue to be in Shavasana. Sometimes I park it on the upper palate or up against my front teeth. Whatever works for you, to allow any of the tension in the jaw to drain, to release, to let go. Inhaling fully, exhaling completely. Inhaling, belly rising. Exhaling, letting it all go. One more big breath in. And let it out through your mouth. Draw your knees into your chest. Bring your hands underneath the backs of your knees or roll over onto your side. And we're going to come onto our bellies for back bending. Placing your forehead on the mat, bring your arms beside your body. Your palms will be facing up. The tops of your feet are flat with your toes pointing backwards. Savasana or locust pose. Again, roll an invisible alley with your nose to lengthen your neck until you're looking straight down at your mat on an inhale. You're pressing your hips and pelvis into the floor and lifting your head, neck, shoulders, chest, and arms off the floor. We'll leave our legs down for a moment. So just the upper body off the floor. Strengthening the back of the body can help us let go of fear. We store fear in the back of our bodies. We store aggression in the front of our bodies. And I like one of the acronyms for fear, which is false evidence appearing real. I have another one too, but I can't say it in yoga class. It has a bad word. Actually, there are many acronyms for it, but false evidence appearing real is often what our fears are about. One more breath in, exhale, and lower all the way down. Please turn your head to the right. Big toes touch, heels splay out. Palms are still facing up and shoulders melt. So back bends are cardiovascularly demanding, so we just take a moment to gather our energy and allow what might come up for us to observe, not to judge. Mindfulness is such a pleasant way of moving through our lives, noticing a behavior, an emotion, a feeling, just noticing it. Hello, emotion. Hello, fear. Whatever it is. And when we don't put a choke or a stranglehold on things, sometimes they're happy to talk to us, reveal to us what message of import they may have. Bring your head back to the center, forehead on the mat. Arms are still beside the body. You're reaching your fingertips towards your heels. Tops of your feet are still flat with your toes pointing to the back of your mats. Roll an invisible alley with your nose. On an inhale, you're pressing hips and pelvis into the mat, and you're lifting your head, neck, shoulders, chest, arms, and how about your legs? So breathing is somewhat impeded, but you must breathe. And this, of course, is the force of gravity that we're working with, or it's working against us to help us develop strength, let go of fear, develop courage. One more breath in. Exhale, turn your head to the opposite side. Let your shoulders melt, big toes touch and heels splay out. Inhale, come back to center. Place your hands underneath your shoulders. Let's press up. Take a modified child's pose, Balasana. Your knees are as wide as the mat. Your big toes touch. If you have a tendency to cramp in your feet, just take your time bringing your hips back towards your heels. Take your time. And then lower your torso between your thighs. And of course, if you have knee issues, you're going to be in puppy pose. You won't bend your knees 90 degrees. You'll keep your bum in the air, arms out in front. If there are no knee or ankle issues, then lowering your torso between your thighs. You may need height to relax your forehead so you can stack your fists. You can fold one forearm on top of the other, create a pillow. And then breathing into your side and back ribs. And notice your back ribs, how they expand on your inhale. Exhaling and inhaling and exhaling. Inhale, come back to center. Bring your knees under your hips, curl your toes under. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Keep your knees soft. Let your upper body hang with your torso, or at least your belly resting on your thighs. Press the soles of your feet into the floor. Let your head hang. Slowly roll up one vertebra at a time, and let your head be the last thing to come up. So we're going to do a bit of a vinyasa. This is where some of you may want your blocks up at the front of your mats. And I think everybody has them. Okay, so starting at the front of your mat, step your right foot back one of your leg lengths. So for most of us, that's going to be about 3 feet. So right leg is back. Your front foot is 90 degrees forward. You've got a straight line through the arch of your back foot, and your toes of your back foot are slightly forward. All right, bend your front knee. Have a look that you can see your big toe inside of your knee. Press into the outside of the back of your foot. This will engage your inner thigh adductor muscles. So feel them. If they're not engaged, you're collapsing, and you can check this out. All right, if I collapse and let my knees collapse, these relax. That isn't the point. Alignment for safety. And then inhale. Keep your head to the center so you can peripherally tell that your arms are at shoulder height, both of them. Then turn your head over your front left arm. Feel your inner thigh adductor muscles activating. Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana. Vira, of course, strong. So I like to say I'm not a worrier, I'm a warrior. And I hope you will be too, in all the right ways. Lower your back arm down your back leg. Reach your top arm up into exalted and peaceful warriors. Hands are always active. The energy is up. Up, 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 up. And transitioning back to Warrior 2. Now, side angle bend, Parsvottanasana. You're going to lower your front forearm onto your front thigh. And then you're going to take that back arm and windmill it all the way down and around, safely bringing it up and over your head. And the lower palm faces up, and the top arm, straight arm, the palm faces down, and it's coming over your ear. Unless, of course, you have shoulder issues, and then placing perhaps the arm straight up. Otherwise, there's a line of energy from your fingertips right along your arm, your torso, and that back leg, Parsvottanasana. Now, inhale, coming into Trikonasana. Straighten your front leg and open your arms up. So imagine you were the cheese in a grilled cheese sandwich. So you've got one slice of bread in front of you and a slice behind you. Nice. Your front leg is straight. Front leg is straight. Inhale, coming back up, lower your arms. We're going to transition now to Warrior 1. So you're going to walk your front foot over towards the outside of the mat, and you're going to bring your back foot a little bit closer. Now you're going to have separation here between your feet, like railroad tracks, so that you can easily orientate your hips, your chest, and your shoulders to the front of your mat. Okay, bend your front knee. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Again, feel the anchor of that back leg. Yeah, you've got weight on the front leg. We're trying to balance so that the weight is in both legs, but you are anchored through your back leg. Warrior one. Now this is where your blocks at the front of your mat, you may want them or not. You're going to inhale, straighten that front leg. You're going to reach forward, exhaling. This is where you may need to place your hands on your blocks. You've got 3 heights for your blocks, or you're tenting your fingers on the floor on either side of your front foot. Your front leg is mostly straight, but if you need to bend it, you bend it. Or you have the option of bending your back leg. Ideally in Parsvottanasana, front angle bend, both of your legs are straight. That's just an ideal. Now bend that front knee once again, sweep the arms coming back into warrior one. Now take your arms behind your back. Interlock your fingers, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Keep that front knee bent, back leg straight. Inhale, lift your gaze and your hearts. Exhale and lead with your hearts, coming into humble warriors. So lowering your torso inside of your front thigh with your arms coming up whatever amount they can. Release your arms and sweep them up into warrior one. And then for your final performance on this side, we're going to do warrior three. What is that, you say? I'm so glad you're curious. Okay, so you're going to transfer your weight. It's a balanced posture, everyone. You're going to look like an airplane. You're going to lift the back leg up, and your arms are forward. They could be out to the side. You're attempting to square your hips, balancing on that front leg, and that will do. Step back, lower your arms, bring your legs together, take a deep breath, and smile. Okay, let's try this on the other side. Stepping your left leg back, one leg length. So again, heel, create straight line through arch of back foot. Back foot, heel is slightly back, front foot 90 degrees. Bend that front knee, but keep your torso straight up and down so your shoulders stay over your hips. And then keep your head front and center to the side just for a moment so you can use your peripheral vision. So your arms are going over your legs, Patty. You got it. All right. And your front knee is bent. Front knee is bent. So you can see that your arms are equal, shoulders lengthened, lowered, and now fix your gaze over your front finger tips. Probably your middle finger will do. Again, notice, are your inner thighs activated, your adductor muscles, which means you are maintaining alignment. Lower your back arm, down your back leg, reach that top arm up, stretching up, looking up. And coming back into warrior two, now into side angle bend, Parsvottanasana. You're going to lower your front forearm onto your front thigh. So your forearm's really resting on your thigh. Take that back arm and swing it down, around, over your ear. So you're blossoming your heart center to the side of your mat. You're reaching and stretching through your fingers. Keep pressing into the outside of your back foot. Back leg is straight. If you can, straightening your back leg and reaching over your ear. And then inhale, straighten your front leg and open your arms up into triangle. Trikonasana. Now you can really feel your core working in this posture. So your legs are straight now, and you're reaching up with that top arm. Inhale, come on, all the way up. Lower your arms. Let's scooch our front leg to the outside of the mat. And then bring your back leg a little bit forward and point your toe a little more forward too. But you've got separation, enough separation. Take as much as you need on your mat just to make it easy for your hips, chest, and shoulders to orientate to the front of your mat. Bend your front knee. And basically having your knee over your ankle is a good alignment. You could go further, but that's more of a low lunge. That's not what we're doing. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Keep your shoulders down. Rib cage in, fingers are active. And then inhale, stretch. Straighten that front leg. So both legs are straight now. You're lifting up out of your waist first. Then reach forward and folding. Parsvottanasana. Front angle bend. Again, using your blocks if you need to add height. Everybody's anatomically different. Letting your head hang off your neck. Breathe into your hamstrings. If whatever area is holding the most tension and tightness, use your breath to create space, to allow release on the exhale. And then bend that front knee. Inhale, sweep the arms up, coming back into warrior one. So if you're not leaning forward and you're straight up and down, this should feel pretty good for your back, your core. No stress. Exhale, lower your arms behind your back. Interlock your fingers and squeeze those shoulder blades together, lifting your heart center, lifting your gaze. Keep that front knee bent, back leg straight, and then lead with your hearts again as you fold, lowering your torso between your legs, lifting your arms up, relaxing your neck and letting your head hang. Arms are coming up whatever amount they can, but this is excellent for counteracting the forward flexion, the rounding of the shoulders, the arms, the chest. Pretty much everything we do, from typing to cooking to cleaning to hugging to reading, we're in forward flexion. But this changes it. And then release your arms, keep your front knee bent. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, float the arms down, coming over sideways on your mat, whichever side you prefer. Choose who you want to look at, whose bum looks good. Or doesn't. Okay, so feet are spread wide apart and toes are pointing out. Bring yourself into a 5-pointed star. Sideways on your mat. Sideways on your mat, Junie? Yep. And then fold from your hips halfway. Tabletop your spine. Tense your fingers down below your face. On an inhale, sweep the left arm up, reaching up, stretching up. Maybe looking up, but maybe through your eyelids. You can close your eyes whenever you can. It helps us go in and float that arm down. Inhale, sweep the other arm up, reaching up, stretching up. Exhale, float it down. Let's lunge over to the left, bringing bum close to heel. Inhaling up and over to the other side. Boy, back in the 80s, we did this without our hands. 4 more, 3 more. Okay, back into the center. Walk your feet in towards one another. And let's come down onto our behinds for a couple of seated postures. Everybody hanging in here? Okay, lift the flesh up and away from underneath your sits bones. Now, it takes a strong core to sit up strong, to sit up straight, and also a little bit of openness in the hips. So sitting up nice and tall, placing your hands beside your hips with your fingers pointing forward, and flex your feet. Dandasana. Tadasana is the basis of all standing postures. Dandasana is the basis of all seated postures. And you can feel, I mean, if you don't think your core is working, feel it once in a while. See what's actually engaging. But we're going to do something really fun here, because you're going to see how much progress you can make just in one forward bend. So let's inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Keep your feet nice and flexed. Again, you're lifting out of your waist, reaching up. Now exhale, lead with your hearts. Feel your belly on your thighs, easy for somebody like me. And then keep reaching forward. Keep reaching and stretching. You're halfway over. One more breath in to stretch and lengthen. Try to lengthen your spine, not round it. And then lower your body and let your hands grasp whatever they're able to reach. So you can use this as leverage. Keeping your spine long, try to keep your shoulders away from your ears. And of course, if your feet are flexed, it's easier and closer for you to grab your toes. On an inhale, let's lengthen the spine. You're going to feel your hamstrings firing if you're really stretching here. So don't go over any further. If you have to round your back, come on up a little bit. One more breath in. Reaching through the crown of your head, lengthening your spine from your tailbone right to the crown. And one last exhale. And lowering whatever amount you can. And maybe it's none. It's okay. And then walk your hands back up your legs and place your hands once again beside your hips. How much easier is it for you to sit up straight now? One little fold. It's like yoga's the best. Actually, Hillary, sitting at the back there, sent me a great article about why yoga is so wonderful. I knew it, but I'd never seen it written in words. And anyway, you'll get all that applesauce while you're with me. Okay, so let's now do a twist position. This is so great for releasing toxins from the body. And this, again, we're practicing Classical Hatha Yoga today. That's what this is. You're going to place your, I'm going to do the mirror image. You're going to place your left foot on the outside of your right knee, flat on the floor. Interlock your fingers 2 inches below your knee and pull your torso up against your thigh if you can, keeping your spine nice and long and tall. Then you're going to place your left hand behind you to hold yourself up, and you're going to inhale the right arm up, reach and stretch. You're going to exhale. Now, a couple options here. You might just wrap your elbow around your thigh. You may be able to bring your elbow to the outside of your knee. Please choose whatever works for you. To inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, twist and turn. Eyes can be opened or closed. If your eyes are open, practice something called drishti, which is a soft focus, soft gaze. I, of course, as you probably have noticed, I love having my eyes closed when I can. It just helps me go inside, reduce. And it's a practice. It's the 5th rung of Ashtanga Yoga called pratyahara. And it's withdrawal of senses. So sight, hearing, touch, smell, and taste. All of these things are pulling us outward. And yet there's an entire universe inside of us waiting to be tapped into to reveal so much wisdom, connection, love, and peace. One more breath in, reaching up through the crown. Exhale. Let's counter twist to the other side for a moment. And then take that leg that was bent and bang it out. Bang out both knees. I was getting a little calf cramping there. Interesting. I might be low on magnesium. All right, let's place the other foot flat on the floor beside your knee. Interlock your fingers 2 inches below. Pull your torso right up against that thigh. Lower your shoulders. Feel your sits bones pressing into the mat and flex the foot of the straight leg, unless, like me, your calf may be cramping a little bit. And then place your right hand behind you to prop yourself up. Inhale the left up. Exhale, again, either wrapping the arm around or bringing the elbow to the outside of the knee, whichever is working best for you today. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twisting whatever amount you can, letting that twist originate from the lower part of the spine, working its way up. So this posture is like wringing out a face cloth. Truly removes a lot of the impurities and wastes that your organs are already doing for you, but this is like a great assist. One more breath in, reaching up through the crown. Exhale, counter twist to the other side. Please take a sip of water if you need to. And then let's assume Shavasana, flat out and relaxing. However, before you get to that, if you wish to draw your knees once again into your shoulders, or even placing the soles of your feet flat on the floor and letting both knees windshield wipe slowly from side to side, whatever might feel good for about 30 seconds before you take your final and very important posture called Shavasana. Thank you for working so hard. Please feel good about your efforts. And when you're ready, please turn your palms up in the open and receiving position. Let your feet splay open. Separate the biting surfaces of the teeth. Relax the jaw. Let your bodies be soft and heavy. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Allow the breath to be warmed, purified, and moisturized through the nostrils. And releasing carbon dioxide, other impurities, and any manner of stress or tension. The body has its limits, but the breath is how we increase our energy. Pranayama, breath control, the fourth limb of Ashtanga Yoga. It's higher than asana for the very reason, and of course more, that I just shared with you, with the body having its limits, but the breath being the vehicle or the vessel in which we can increase our energy, also let go stress, tension, fear, or worry. Inhaling sun, warm, yellow, positive. Exhale, moon, cool, blue, negative. Sun, warm, yellow, positive. Moon, cool, blue, negative. Sun, warm, yellow, positive. Moon, cool, blue, negative. Inhaling the life force long, full, and deep. And deep, exhaling. Long, full, deep, inhaling. And deep, exhaling. Stretching your arms over behind your heads. Reach and stretch, point feet far, flex and point. And bring your arms back by your side. One last time, reach your arms skybound, reach and stretch, point feet far, flex and point, and drop your arms down by your sides. Gently rolling over onto perhaps your right side, bending your knees, using your bottom arm as a pillow. Perhaps you'd like to set an intention for the rest of your day at this point. Or just give thanks for this thing, this vessel, this vehicle called your body, for all that it does. In fact, as Meister Eckhart said, if the only prayer you ever said was thank you, it would be enough. Use your top arm. When you're ready, just slowly press yourself back up into a seated position. And if you wish, please join me in chanting the sacred seed mantra Om one time only. Inhaling together. Om Shanti, peace and namaste.